Imagine this. You are famous. I mean, globally famous, adored by millions. Then you wake up one morning and poof, nobody has a clue who you are. Your friends, your fans, the government, it's like you never existed. You've been totally, completely erased. Okay, let's get into this absolutely wild, surreal mystery from the mind of Philip K. Dick.
So meet Jason Taverner. It's a Tuesday and he's on top of the world. He's what they call a six, a genetically engineered top-tier human, and he hosts the second biggest TV show on the entire planet. He's got the looks, the money, the fame. He is at the absolute peak of his game, signing off his show just like any other night.
And look, when I say famous, I really mean it. We're not talking about some niche celebrity here. 30 million people. That's how many viewers tuned into his show every single week. He's more than a household name. He's a part of the cultural fabric of this world. He is, for all intents and purposes, Mr. Everyone. But then, Wednesday happens. Taverner wakes up not in his fancy apartment, but in a cheap, rundown hotel room. He has no idea how he got there. And that's not even the scary part. The scary part is realizing his entire life, all that fame, his very existence has just vanished. See, when he gets outside, he realizes he doesn't have his ID cards. And in this world, a heavily policed police state, that's everything. Without your papers, you're officially an unperson. You don't exist in the system. And in a reality that's run by data, that basically makes you a ghost and a very easy target. And this is where the sheer terror of it all really kicks in. The erasure is perfect. It's absolute. It's not just that people don't recognize his face. He frantically calls the birth registry. Nope, no record. He checks the police databanks, nothing. Even the permanent ident tattoo on his arm, which is supposed to be foolproof, links to a file that just isn't there. He's been wiped clean. You have to understand, being an unperson here isn't an inconvenience. It's a death sentence. The streets are crawling with cops and National Guards, pols and gnats, running constant checkpoints. If you don't have papers, they just assume you're an escaped student radical and ship you off to a forced labor camp, for life. His only shot is to find someone who can forge him a new identity. So this desperation leads him to a girl named Kathy. She's a teenage document forger who, it turns out, is also a police informant. He tells her his crazy story, that he's a world-famous TV star that no one has ever heard of, and, well, she comes to the only conclusion that makes any sense. The guy's gotta be nuts. Just to drive home how completely alone he is, in a moment of pure desperation, Taverner calls the one person on Earth who should know him inside and out, his lover, the famous singer Heather Hart. She's a six just like him. But when he gets her on the phone, she treats him like a crazy, obsessed fan and hangs up on him, terrified. He has absolutely no one. All right, let's switch gears for a second, because Taverner isn't the only one trying to figure this out. While he's running for his life, the system itself has flagged an error. And this is where we meet Police General Felix Buckman. He's an ordinary human. And let's just say he's got a serious chip on his shoulder about the genetically superior sixes. He's the hunter, and Taverner is now his prey. A very strange report lands on Buckman's desk. An inspector picked up some guy claiming to be Jason Taverner. But here's the thing, every single database on the planet says that Jason Taverner does not exist. It's an impossible contradiction, a glitch in the matrix, and Buckman is immediately intrigued. And this, right here, is the central question of the entire story. Buckman is looking at a man who is standing right in front of him, physically real, but officially, he's the fantasy. How can both of those things be true? Is this guy a brilliant con artist? A complete lunatic? Or is it something else entirely? Well, Taverner's luck finally runs out in Las Vegas. He gets nabbed by the police and is brought straight to General Buckman. And there it is. The two sides of our story finally collide. The fugitive and the hunter, the unperson and the policeman, finally in the same room, both trying to solve an impossible puzzle. Buckman can't actually prove he's done anything wrong, so he has to let him go. But as Taverner is walking out of the police station, a woman approaches him. It's Alice, General Buckman's sister. And she just casually says, "Oh, I know you very well, Jason Taverner." After 2 days of total anonymity, she's the first person who knows who he is, and the way she says it, it's almost spooky. So, Alice takes him to the mansion she shares with her brother. But just minutes after they get there, Taverner walks into a bathroom and finds her body. Or what's left of it. It's a yellowed skeleton, looking like it's been dead for decades.
but it's wearing the exact same clothes Alice had on moments before. Right here, this is the point where reality completely shatters.
Taverner freaks out and runs, and at that exact moment, back at police headquarters, something impossible happens. A full, complete police file on Jason Taverner, TV star, 30 million viewers, years of history, just pops into existence in the system. Everything snaps back. It's as if the last 2 days never happened. So, what in the world just happened? How could a man's entire life get deleted and then just to suddenly be restored? Well, the answer has nothing to do with a clerical error or a government conspiracy. It's way, way weirder than that. It's all because of a very powerful, very strange experimental drug. The drug is called KR3. Now, this stuff doesn't just make you hallucinate. No, it makes your own private fantasy worlds become physically real for a little while. And here's the kicker. It can actually pull other real people into that fantasy with you.
Okay, so let's put the pieces together. It turns out Alice Buckman was obsessed with Jason Taverner. She had this intense fantasy of being his friend. So she takes a massive overdose of KR3, and boom, her fantasy becomes real. And because Taverner was the focus of her obsession, he gets yanked out of our reality and into hers, a world where he wasn't famous and she was the only one who knew him. Then she dies, her fantasy world collapses, and Taverner just snaps right back to where he belongs.
So think about that. Taverner's entire nightmare, being erased from existence, was nothing more than a side effect. He was just a supporting character trapped inside someone else's powerful drug-fueled dream, a story that became terrifyingly real until its author died and the book just slammed shut.
And all of this leaves General Buckman with a hell of a choice. He knows Taverner is innocent, just a random victim of his sister's insane drug trip. But framing Taverner for her death would be the perfect cover-up for his own secrets, and a great way to protect his career. So he's got to choose: protect himself and the state, or do the right thing.
That night, Buckman has this incredibly vivid dream. He sees these robed figures going to execute Taverner, and when he hears the shriek, he feels something he hasn't felt in a very long time. True empathy. This deep, crushing grief for the man whose life he was about to ruin.
And that dream, it changes him. It completely breaks through that cold, hard shell. Buckman decides not to frame Taverner. Instead, he realizes what's actually important. He flies to Florida to reconnect with his and Alice's estranged son, choosing, finally, to be a father instead of just a policeman. And that leaves us with one last, big question to chew on. This story is more than just a sci-fi thriller. It's asking something fundamental about who we are. If everything about you, your records, your reputation, your relationships, can just be blinked out of existence because of someone else's dream, what part of you is actually real? What really makes you, you?